What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and DC Comics was so proud when they put this image out there and announced to the world that Jonathan Kent, son of Clark Kent and Superman in the current iteration of DC Comics, is going to be turned gay. And they went out there, had articles written everywhere, news stories everywhere saying this is incredible, how progressive it is for DC Comics to turn this hero gay. And after getting all this attention and all this virtue signaling and all this good press, what happened? Inevitably, like we all knew it would, the sales have absolutely crashed for this book because once again, by bending the knee to identity politics, by trying to appeal to the Twitter audience, the activists out there, you will always lose in the long run. And that's what Tom Taylor and DC Comics is finding out once again. Tom Taylor and DC Comics' Gay Superman book completely falls off the top 50 sales charts. And we've done a couple videos about this because after they made the announcement, of course, there were a lot of people that went out and bought that comic book where Superman officially comes out as gay and is kissing that pink-haired dude on the cover. Now, did some people buy that because, oh, it's a gay person, yay, I finally represented? I guess maybe. Did a lot of people buy that because they thought it was going to be worth something in the long run? Absolutely, that happened as well, as we see with a lot of different collectors will buy comics for that type of reason. Whatever the reason that sales did initially spike for this, it was a flash in the pan. Because when you decide to go after this audience that is non-existent, that doesn't go back and buy books all the time, you will lose. You will destroy your IPs, you will destroy your properties. And that's exactly what they did. They sacrificed the character of Superman at the altar of identity politics, and Tom Taylor is still trying to spin it. DC Comics and writer Tom Taylor's Gay Superman book, Superman, Son of Kal-El, completely fell out of the top 50 sales charts for the month of February. Taylor has consistently attempted to defend his book's sales, albeit without providing any actual numbers. But the reality of time continues to prove his assertions simply aren't true. Back in February, he attempted to defend the book's sales, but actually confused the book's placement on the sale charts in November to the issue of the book. As part of a lengthy statement, Taylor wrote, wait, issue number 6 didn't even appear in December sales. What? And we made a video all about this where I actually had interpreted the annual, I kind of made the same mistake, I had interpreted the annual sales as the sales for issue 6. And the annual sales were not good. And I said then, you know what? I had misinterpreted that and I said, you know, I absolutely did report that wrong. However, that doesn't mean that this annual didn't sell terrible. And we'll see what happens when issue 6 comes out. And of course, when issue 6 came out, it was a disaster. It was down, I think, maybe 46th or something, almost out of the top 50. And what do you know? Just a month later, it is completely fallen out of the top 50 in terms of comic book sales. The 5th issue of the book, where Superman gets a boyfriend, was in fact the 6th all-time selling book on ICV2's charts. As noted, the charts are unit and dollar sales rankings based on book sales tracked at point of sale by Comic Book Hub system at stores selling American comic books around the world. Taylor even used that. And it's important to note that Tom Taylor used this metric when it was, in the top 10. He used that and bragged about it and said, look at how incredible we're doing now that we debuted Gay Superman. Now what he's trying to say is, well, those numbers aren't the real numbers, even though he used them to brag when it was the top 10. Now that it's fallen out of the top 50, now that it's not even on the charts anymore, now he doesn't want to talk about it. That's a joke. We all know that no one's buying this dog shit anymore. They just aren't. This is the tweet where he brags about it. Now this is pretty confusing. I don't believe a story's worth is measured by its sales, but our Superman is selling pretty well. Issue 5 made the top 10 in comic sales. So he brags about it then until it doesn't work out very well for him. The people oddly obsessed with our Superman sales are misrepresenting things using a chart from only 100 plus comic stores. So the same things that he was bragging about, the same metric that he was bragging about, once it doesn't fit the narrative, because as we all knew, the book sales would crash, he tries to deflect. And he even, in one of these tweet threads, he included a video that I did about it. That's how butthurt he was, that he went and he found a video that I made about it and included it in this big thread list. How embarrassing it must be to be him now. Nevertheless, this data point seems to indicate that Taylor and DC Comics' editorial decisions to make Superman gay was a one-and-done gimmick that might have actually driven away readers of the series. That assumption got another piece of evidence as Superman, Son of Kal-El number 8 did not even show up on either of the top 50 charts, either in total issues sold or in dollars. Pathetic, a failure for DC Comics. But that's what happens when you take a character as beloved as Superman and you decide that this is what you want to do with him. Despite falling out of the top 50 completely, Taylor is still playing games. So he's going to the Amazon bestsellers list. And of course, these things are ranked hourly too. So you could go and sell just a couple issues or even buy a couple issues yourself, to be quite honest, and probably bump that up a decent amount on Amazon. And that's what Tom Taylor is using. Something that provides no metrics, something that only shows over the past hour a trend that's occurring. Pathetic behavior from Tom Taylor, because he is the one who is very sensitive about his book. If he, like he said, doesn't care about sales, one, why would he brag about it in November? And two, why for the past 3 months has he been constantly trying to spin and defend his book's tanking sales? It's because he actually is sensitive, because he knows that this has been rejected by everyone, because he knows that this is destructive to DC Comics and destructive to the character of Superman. And he's going out of his way to defend it. He bragged about it having a 9.4 critic and user rating when it first legitimately first came out. Now it only has 8 critic reviews, so no one's actually reading this book from a critical standpoint, and it only has 25 user reviews. No one is reading this. And the evidence is right there. The evidence that Tom Taylor used himself to say the book was selling well has now told you this book is out of the top 50. No one's interested. It's not like this is a surprise. We knew this would happen back months ago when this first came out, when they debuted this and told us that this is what the story was going to be about. Not about a great story developing this character, but all about someone's sexuality. Everyone knew what would inevitably happen, and it did. What a shocker. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my PO box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.